have been getting y'all inboxes. I have been getting the live feeds, the pictures. Hey, Derek. I've been getting the pictures of the inmates. Some of them just been too much. Hey, Laura. Some of them have been too graphic for me to even share. I didn't even want to surprise y'all with some of the stuff I've seen. I thought it was too much. The top two worst things that I have seen today. One, hey Sasha, one of them, there's a cell, a picture of a cell, and it looks like two prisoners are dead in this picture. One of them is laid across the bed, and one of them is on the floor. But blood is everywhere. Blood is on them, and it looks like they're both dead. I have seen a video of where an inmate is recording and is saying that there is another inmate dead hanging in another cell across the hall from them. I couldn't all the way make that one out. I wasn't actually just seeing a body. Like, it wasn't perfect, okay? But it's in prison and it's on cell phones and they sneaking. So, but I could tell that cell door was hanging open. And so I think that must be true on that one. So I have seen that. I've seen the worst video that I think that I saw was an inmate recording from an upper level to a lower level, and it looked like they were all locked down. But you could hear the chants and the yells and the screams from other cells yelling into that particular cell, and they were telling the people that were in that cell to not stop beating or stabbing whomever it was they were beating until they stopped breathing. Like, literally, you could hear the people in the background saying, if he's still breathing, you ain't done nothing. Don't stop. Don't keep going. Stab him in the face. Stab him with... Like, this is what the people were chanting. And I could see that there was scuffling happening inside of a closed cell. Now, I thought that was the worst for me because I felt like they were all locked down. And some of y'all don't know. So lockdown in most jail facilities, is when the inmates have been locked inside of their cell. And supposedly, every inmate, whatever cell, if it's a 2-man or more, whatever cells they're assigned to are locked and they're kept inside of those cells. Well, then you have like open pods in some prisons, in some jails, and I'm not sure how Parchment's makeup is, but there are some of them that look like barracks, like what you may have seen in military videos before, where there will be rows of bunk beds against the walls and all in the middle of the floors, and each inmate is assigned to a bunk, but it's lots of them in one room. Now, I don't quite understand how you lock down those areas. I'm not sure. So maybe one of you that works or has worked in the jail, maybe y'all will ask. Like I said, I'll bring somebody in tonight that may know more than me. But I have learned a good bit of what happens or about prison life, because I've known people that have been sentenced and that have done time and are even some still doing time right now. What I've seen from some of y'all is almost as ugly as some of the videos of blood in the floor. It's when I see comments from you free world people that say, well, it's prison or it's jail, or you try to downplay the videos and the pictures and the stories that are coming from Parchment because you feel like it's prison and everybody that goes to prison went to prison for a reason. And I'm going to say that some of y'all with those mentalities and some of y'all that feel that way, it's out of pure ignorance. It's just because you haven't thought this through. You haven't thought it all through. Some of you say because y'all have never served time and you don't know anybody, and that's part of it. But another part of it is, we have been taught that bad people go to jail, and that's something. Some of you even teach your kids that. Some of you, I've heard people tell their kids, you better be quiet before I call the police. Some of you kind of use this tool wrong. But over the last few years, even just in the last few months, we've witnessed people be exonerated and released from prison that had served 20 years sometimes for crimes that they never committed. And those people aren't a small population. The people that get released and that we find out about are a small population. But in fact, there are many people in those jails that never committed a crime. They absolutely never committed a crime. They have been wrongfully convicted. Some of them have been framed. Some of them were framed by law enforcement. Some of them were framed by district attorneys. Some of them were mistaken. They may not even been framed. They just were mistakenly identified as whomever the criminals may be. Bigger than that, the same jail that holds a murderer, the same exact jail holds somebody who was driving under the influence on more than one occasion. Potentially driving under the influence 3 times. Potentially an alcoholic, which is a medical condition. Potentially somebody who was suffering from drug addiction or mental issues. You'd be surprised how many people have been convicted of crimes and we've thrown them away in our jails and our prisons, and they're really mentally incapable of knowing and understanding the crimes they have committed. But we've just thrown them away in jail. And a lot of you have forgotten all of these mixtures, right? There are people that are in those jails that wrote checks, that got sentenced for forging checks or writing bad checks. And we've seen it. And not everybody that wrote a bad check got out the house and just said, I'm finna go scam people. There have been people who have written bad checks because that was all that they could do to buy groceries to feed their children and grandchildren. I've seen a grandmother in a courtroom before get sentenced to go to jail for writing bad checks. And all of her bad checks were for groceries and clothing and necessities for grandchildren that had been dropped off on her or had been left to her for a child that she had that died. And for no real mistake of her own other than being left with 3 grandchildren that she had already retired and didn't have enough money to feed herself, did what she knew to do, was just write a check and think the checks would give her some extensions on paying. Well, anyway, needless to say, she's in one of those cells in Parchment or in a facility like Parchment right now. So when you think about that, when you think about the 14 and 13-year-old children who somebody pledged or begged to charge them as an adult. You see, we got a teenager that's in jail right now awaiting trial for killing a man who had kidnapped her and was sex trafficking her. And she killed him in an effort to get away. Now she's charged with his murder. She's in a jail somewhere. You don't know who all are in these prisons and who are in these jails. And while many of you are turning a blind eye, and many of you are saying that's where they deserve to be, that's the jail, that's what they did in life to bring them there, is it really fair for them to be supposedly being rehabilitated? Okay, those jails are supposed to be rehabilitation centers so that when their terms are over, they can get back into this free world with us and mix back into our population right now where you feel semi-safe. Is it really fair and humane to look at those pictures and those videos? I watched one video and it was almost an hour long. I didn't watch it a full hour, but for almost an hour, this guy was on a live feed and there was a thick cloud of smoke. It was thick. It was so thick you could see it in the video. It was like he was inside a fire. And he said something was on fire on his own. Somebody had set a fire and they were actually locked inside of their cells. There was trash and food on the floors. Again, they're all locked inside of their cells. Is it really humane for them to be in an open fire? Is it really? I mean, I know there probably was somebody who started it that was wrong, right? That's fine. One person was wrong. But should the rest of them be in there in poor air quality and risk for cancer and other inflammatory problems in their lungs because we're going to turn a blind eye, or because some people are saying that's prison or that's jail? Like, are y'all really feeling like that? Like, are y'all really that hard and cold to other humans? Like, where are the people who are mad at Mike Vick? Where are the people who are upset about dog fights? Where are those people? How can you really be that upset about how people treat an animal and then see the videos? I saw a plate. I posted the plate. I saw a lunch or I don't know what it was. It was a piece of bologna, a mustard pack, and like 4 cookies, like Oreo type, vanilla Oreo type cookies or lemon cookies. I don't know. But a slice of bologna and a pack of mustard. No bread, no fruit, no, like nothing. Like, and I understand that it's jail, okay? But I would say for the amount of money that was spent to give them that garbage, the money that was spent on the styrofoam plates alone, all those styrofoam plates was really, that's what I want to be mad about. And the people who want to save the planet, we ought to be trying to figure out why they still got those styrofoam plates that they use. And why would you buy a styrofoam plate, a takeout plate, if you're not giving the people nothing no better than that? You can sling them a slice of bologna off on their hand. Somebody could just pull the bologna off of the slice and give it to them if that's how they're going to get. The meals are awful.